Okay, I've been watching a lot of different videos on YouTube recently, kind of inspired by Peter Brown, as usual, who did a resin pouring thing. And I've kind of gone through resin pouring and thought, that looks good, but expensive. And then I've moved on to paint pouring, which seems to be just as weird and interesting. So I'm going for the cheapest possible version, so I'm using really cheap acrylic paint, really cheap PVA glue, and some WD40. And I'm doing here kind of smallish batches because I'm doing 6 boxes, and I've base coated these with just acrylic just to give me an idea of where I'm going. I've got some sort of idea about what colour, well, at least what colour choice I'm starting with on each box, and then it gets a little bit crazy later on. So the idea is that you mix up your colours and you give each pot a spray of your WD40 or automotive lubricant, and then you just start kind of mixing and pouring. So essentially you put your first colour in a clean pot, and then you keep stacking the other colours in, and sooner or later you'll end up with a colour that is, or a pot that is pretty much full of paint waiting to go. So then you've got to tip it up quite sharply on top of the box. Some of the videos I've seen, you kind of move it about a bit and kind of give it a kind of a base to work from, but some don't, so I'm using both kind of techniques here. And so yeah, that's it. You do that, you stick it upside down on top, and then when you lift it up, all the colours, all the paints just go everywhere. Which looks quite sexy to start with and is quite alarming. I think these are still a little too thin to do this right, but I think for a first attempt this isn't bad. So each one of these I'm thinking about colour combinations and kind of building up things that seem to work. Now I've masked off kind of the bottom half of these boxes, or at least of the lids, because I wanted to give them a clean line, but it didn't quite work out that way. So some of them I've got a clean line, some the paint didn't actually flow all the way around, so I've got a clean line and a gap, and some I don't have a clean line at all. So I think I was trying to overcomplicate it, and I've decided to add some ribbon as decoration and to cover up the mistake instead, so I'll get on to that later. So you'll see stuck a stirry stick underneath each one so that I can actually get a grip of it and get kind of some control when kind of tipping. It worked to some degree, but having the stick on the bottom actually made them unbalanced and not sit flat actually when they were done, so they continued to move as they were kind of sitting and drying. These take a long time to dry because of the lubricant in there. It slows the drying down completely, which is good if you want to keep playing with them and keep kind of moving things around, but not so much if you want to get onto the next stage. So these were done and stuck onto glass panel, just a kind of sheet of glass, just so that I knew they wouldn't stick to anything, and then had to be left in a corner somewhere whilst they dried, which is all well and good, but I want to get on with something. I don't want to sit and wait for it to dry. So it's difficult not to keep fiddling, and with the square, the blue square, I'd over fiddled. I kept going back and kept playing with it, and it's become really muddy, and I'll show you that later. But out of 6 boxes, that's the only one that I consider to be a fail, and on my first attempt I think that's pretty good.